Hello and welcome to another live stream from Analytic Endeavors. Great to have everyone here, and I'm joined here by Gregory.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Really glad you are coming on. I think we've got a really interesting topic today, one that we haven't really talked about. Just before we get into it, Gregory, maybe just want to say hello, introduce yourself for those who don't know you.
Sure. Hey everybody, Greg Petrossian. You can find me on LinkedIn or user groups talking about all things AI and Microsoft and Fabric and Power Platform. I'll have a bio about myself in my slide deck and get a little deeper, but I'm just glad to be here. And this is actually one of my very first presentation live streams. So this will be exciting. Hopefully the demo gods are shining down on me today.
Yeah, I hope so. Also, a very kind of new, up and coming topic. A lot of AI things. So, yeah, very exciting. I think something that's probably a bit new for all of us. I understand you've been playing around quite a bit lately.
Yeah, at IBM and formerly it was DataStax before it was acquired. We're very focused on AI and specifically generative AI. I've been involved with Langflow, which is our visual IDE for building agents and orchestrating agents. And we have evolved ourselves from being a database to a vector database, much like everybody else out there. So we're going to be talking about just kind of the basics foundations of generative AI and really kind of demystifying that this isn't magic, right? Like, what are the things under the covers? Just a nesting doll of prompts, how this all fits together, and that you can do it too on your own machines. And hopefully, at the end of this session, everybody feels more confident in knowing just all the components that go into having an agent or doing what's called RAG, Retrieval-Augmented Generation.
Yeah, awesome. It's something myself as well. Been in data a while now. Seen these terms before. Never really sat, on the data science team, and I think everyone's kind of a lot more exposed. Obviously, I think we all know the big push to AI. So something
Right.
I think we'll just, it's definitely worth knowing a bit about if you're in the data world, whether you want to go into it, specialize in it. But I think we're all going to be using some form of this in everything we do, right?
Totally. And all the components you're going to learn today is something you can apply across, whether you're doing this from an analytics sense or, chat completion summaries, all that.
Yeah, awesome. So that's really cool, and I think you're just joining us from Portland, I believe, as well.
Yep. Portland, Oregon. We keep it weird, as they say.
Yeah, and I know you're quite involved in the data community over there as well.
Yeah, I run the Portland Fabric, Power Platform, and Azure user group. It's quite a lot, but I love communities. And I've been running the Fabric user group over 7 years. The Power Platform and Azure group were a bit newer. We have a Microsoft AI night here in Portland happening on October 7th. Super excited for that, bringing everybody back in person. We've been doing a lot of virtual meetups. You can find our meetup recordings on my YouTube, Schema Sauce. So yeah, user groups are just core to me, and it's how I learn and how I stay abreast of all the changing technology and try and bring the community along with me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Awesome to be a part of. I think online ones like this is very helpful. We can reach a large audience. If you do get a chance to go to them in person, really great. Hanging out
Yeah,
with people who are interested in the same stuff that you are. Get a nerdy talk with a group of cool people. So definitely something I love to do.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, with that, I think we're ready to jump in. I know probably everyone's quite excited to dive in and hear some of the things you're going to talk through. So with that, I'll
Absolutely.
hand over the stage.
Sweet. All right, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Cool. We're just going to run through some slides and we just kind of talk through most of it. My presentation's on an intro to Azure OpenAI and Langflow. Talked a little bit about me, but that's a cute picture of my cat. I'm an avid blogger on Schema Sauce. I love running user groups. I've been teaching tech sales at Willamette University, and I have a long history as a Microsoft partner in the consulting world. So I have done implementations from app dev to analytics to AI. So I have a pretty wide breadth and depth of experience. And now, from DataStax to IBM, have been really focused on AI and helping enterprises do AI the right way, and implement Gen AI, responsibly and successfully. So what are we going to go through today? I'm going to give you a quick introduction on Langflow, get you used to the basics. We're going to spin up a vector database. Again, terms, I know, Steve, you're saying we've seen a lot of terms out there, and now we're going to actually see them in action. So hopefully that will help everybody kind of learn and get their mind around these concepts. We're going to deploy an embedding model and an Azure OpenAI foundation model. Again, some buzzwordy terms. Then we're gonna build a retrieval-augmented generation flow. And then finally, we're gonna build an agent. And now the use case we're gonna be focused on is job search and being able to tell an agent, hey, based on my experience and my resume, can you tell me, am I a good fit for a role? Can you build me a resume? And it can access my experience. It can access a URL like tools, and I just let the agent do its thing.
Cool.
Now, I'm going to be using open source Langflow. You can just download Langflow desktop. It's the easier way to go. If you're comfortable with open source tools, this is kind of the steps to go through it. You can see I am running Langflow here. Locally, you're seeing here in the right, I have just in a browser, my local host with it running. But if you want to go get Langflow desktop, it works on Mac and Windows. Just fill out your info and get it down, and you'll get the downloader. And we also have the documentation. If you didn't catch what I just shared, we walk you through, and you can even put it in a Docker. That's probably the right way to do it rather than running it just locally. But for ease, we're just having it run in the browser and downloading and installing from here. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm gonna maximize this. So this is Langflow. You've got projects here. These projects can have flows within it. And what we're going to do, why not start a new one? We got an empty project here. I'm going to name this Analytics Endeavors. How can I spell that? Analytics. Cool. And we're going to get a new flow. Now, we have some templates, which are nice, and we're going to actually work through all three of these templates. But for now, I'm just going to do a blank flow. With this blank flow, I just want to show you some of the basic components, chat input and a chat output. Now I'm going to put these two things together. Some just basics. You can move components around. On the left here is all the components you have access to. I can delete. I select this, click backspace, and I can delete these connections. From the very basics, what I love about Langflow is being able to test right here. And so one of the main uses of Langflow is to be able to test, iterate, bring components in, bring components out, try different models. That's the core concept behind Langflow, and one that we see in the generative AI world, where you just have to do tons of testing. And if you're going to do this, just handwritten code and just try and fail, takes way too much time. And so being able to very quickly use a visual IDE like Langflow just totally speeds up the testing process. Also, another reason I love Langflow is you can visually see all the components and what's happening. It's great for teaching, and it's also great for communicating. right? And so if you're trying to work with some business stakeholders, rather than saying, yeah, this is all magic and it works, might as well show them all the pieces for them to feel more comfortable with what's happening, how you've set it up, and you can confirm with stakeholders that may not be very code driven, hey, did we get this right? Are we bringing the right context, the right tools? Are we missing anything before you push it to production? And we make it really easy to be able to push to production via an API. So I'm going to go to the playground here in the top right. I have that input and output already put together. And I'm just going to say hello world. So what do you expect to happen? My input will be the same as my output, right? And so nothing too crazy here. So why don't we actually bring in a large language model? So we've got tons of models here. I'm going to be using Azure OpenAI. So first, again, do you know Greg Petrossian? It shouldn't say, there shouldn't be anything, right? Nothing's happening here. So I'm going to connect my chat input here, my chat output, and we are going to go get some keys. And you'll see here on the right, we have Azure AI Foundry. Have you played around with AI Foundry much, Steve?
I've been playing around. It's quite nice. I think I'm quite liking the AI Foundry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really easy way to go get models and spin up keys without having to do a ton of management. In the Azure portal, you'll see what I'm working on. There's AI hubs. You have the AI Foundry like service behind itself. You also have Azure OpenAI. This is more of the unmanaged version. What's nice is when you're using AI Foundry, it's taking care of things like the key vault and all the different things that you would have to responsibly set up if you were going to go straight to Azure OpenAI itself. But for now, we're just going to use Foundry because it's just easy. It's super easy. You'll see I'm already in a project, and I have a blog that I just published on how to go through and create a project from scratch. And so people have questions around how I got to where I'm at. Please check out my blog. I can drop the link if you like. But since I've got a project and I want to spin up a model, let's just do GPT. Let's look for GPT 4.0. Chat completion. So you click on this and you can click use this model. And I like using just direct from the Azure model. And it will give you some customization should you want. And I've already got one deployed, so it's going to say -2. I'm not going to deploy this, but if you click on deploy, basically spins all the services and makes it look like what we've got here in my models and endpoints. This will show the project and the Azure AI service I'm in. So I've got these two models I've already spun up. I've got GPT 4.0 and I got text embedding. Now we're going to focus first on just chat completion. I just want to talk to chat like I do in ChatGPT, right? Except we're using a model that's deployed within our security ecosystem, and we're not going to have any data leak. Okay, so you'll see here, and I'll expand this a bit. We have an API key, we have an endpoint, we have a deployment name. That's really the basics of what you need. You can even, I mean, there's more in AI Foundry that we're not going to get into, but let's just use this. So I'm going to copy this key. I'm going to make this smaller. I'll come back over to Langflow, my GPT 4.0. I'm going to put in my key. I'm going to grab my endpoint. And that's what endpoint target URI. I don't know why it says target URI, but now I'm going to press play to make sure this is all working. You'll see at the bottom, it's running. It says flow is built successfully. And I'm going to say, hello world, and I should get a response. Great, how can I assist you? And I'm just going to say, do you know Greg Petrossian? So it doesn't know who I am, right? It doesn't know my experience. It just knows what it's been trained on, right? And so we're going to give it that context about me. And to give it that context, I want to use a vector database. I'm going to take my resume. We're going to chunk that resume, and we're going to vectorize that data and then provide it to the large language model. Sounds complex, right? Now, for now, I'm going to name my flow here. Just say, basic prompt. Cool. And then we're going to go back to Langflow. All right, so let's go back to our project. Now, before I create that project, let's spin up the vector database. So I am going to go here. So if you want to go to Astra, you can go to DataStax, Astra DB. Just sign in. And it'll ask you to create your own credentials. Now I have two databases here. I have one here, it's my my schema sauce database. It already has my resume in there, but I also spun up just a demo database. Now before I use this, I'll walk you through the wizard on just how easy it is to create a database. So when I go to create database, I want a vector. So you can choose vector or non-vector. We want vector. So DB analytics endeavors. And I can choose my cloud provider. We're all Microsofties, I'm sure, that are watching. So I click Azure, and we have a region here. Now, this is all on our free tier, and I can create database. Now, I'm not going to create that for now because I've already got my database. Once I click that, it'll initialize and create my database. Now, what's nice is when I click on my database, you're going to see some things here, right? You're going to see your API endpoint, the ability to generate an application token. You see a data explorer here, and we have no data in this database. And so we're going to put some data in there with Langflow. Okay, so let's go back now that we have our database. Now let's do a new flow. And let's do vector store rag. Do y'all remember what RAG stands for? Steve, do you know what RAG stands for? Quick quiz.
Retrieval-Augmented.
Yes, generation. All right, so let me make this a little larger. So we've got two flows here, okay? Here you'll see a little README. It's our load data flow. And at the top is our retrieval flow, which is actually using the context and going to leverage the data in that database to do retrieval. So then we don't teach Azure OpenAI who Greg Petrossian, but we provide context. Do retrieval on who is Greg Petrossian. Now I'm going to delete some of this just for clarity. And also you'll notice we're using OpenAI models. Now, because we want to use our secure models within our Azure tenant, we want to use the resources within Azure. I'm going to replace all this. So I'm going to delete all this. We're going to delete the language model. Boom. Okay, so first thing, if I search Azure here on the left, you'll see the two models. We have the foundation model and the embedding model. And I'll explain the difference between the two. I'll actually show you the difference between the two here. Okay. So let's get the keys for the embedding model first. I'm going to take this embeddings point and I'm going to connect it to my database. We haven't filled out the database yet. Let's go back to AI Foundry. Let's go back to our models. I'm going to pick text embedding 3 small. Now this embedding model is specifically for text. I have a PDF. Yeah, I just went to my LinkedIn and I downloaded it. That's what we've got here. See my downloads. Got my LinkedIn resume. And I want to take the text out of that PDF and I want to chunk it and I want to vectorize it. So when I click on this, just like with the foundation model, I've got all the information I need. I've got my key, put the API key here. Got my endpoint. I'm going to pull that here. I've got here, which is the deployment name. I'm going to copy that. Cool. We are hunky-dory. Now let's go back to Astra. Now what it's going to want me to do is it wants my application token. So I'm going to go here to generate token, and you're only going to get this token once. I'm going to call this demo token. I have it just to never expire. It's going to generate. Now you only get this once, so I'm going to save this over in my Word doc. Demo DB application token. You should save this like in a key vault or somewhere secure. It's the right way to do it. Okay. And I'm going to put my application token here. Okay. Now it's going to pop something else up. Now there's this idea of collections. Now not only do we have a database, but you can have collections within that database. Almost think of them like schemas or tables, but these collections can have very contextually like similar types of documents, and you can have multiple collections in a database should you choose. And we only really want one collection, right? And so here, when I go to, we're gonna have to refresh this list. Where's our demo DB? Flash list, come on. Huh, okay, well, can we just do a new database? It probably just wants the collection first. So let's go back here. Let's just create the collection. So if I go to Data Explorer, I have this ability to create collection. I'm going to create an empty collection. I'm just going to call this demo collection. I am going to use bring my own. That's the Azure OpenAI embedding model here. Now, every model has its own dimensions that it expects. 1536 is what text embedding 3 likes. And I'm going to want dot product. I'm going to create this collection.
I'm guessing there's some good resources if we want to kind of look up and see what the best is in the settings.
Yeah, like and you saw when I had those drop down, it was saying, hey, this model likes this model likes that. It's something you can look at or even just look up. But yeah, looks like my collection is ready to rock. We still don't have anything in here yet. So let's see if now it can see my database. Huh. Come on, demo gods. Let's try it again. I'm just going to delete this. And we're going to try and bring AstraDB back. I'm going to give it the application token that I had. Just going to think about it. Fresh list. And if this doesn't work, we'll try a different application token that I know is working. So odd. Let's just do this. Let's try this. Demo DB demo 2.
Ready for
Azure.
the weekend.
Oh, I know, right? This is the type of day we're having. And we'll be able to see it on the other side. Looks like it's spinning it up. And while we wait for it, I'm going to click. I am going to bring this, once this embedding is ready, give the chucks to ingest data.
Also linked to Astra DB. I think it's probably quite a new one for a lot of people. If you want to maybe just give some
let me talk about it. And so AstraDB, it's a NoSQL database. The foundation of it is Apache Cassandra. I mean, a lot of databases also vector databases. Azure SQL is now a vector database. It supports vector. Cosmos is also a vector database. I'm using Azure DB just because our components already built in. You can use many other vector databases like Pinecone. I'm sure Pinecone is one everybody is familiar with. But whatever database you use, and as you can see, this database is still initializing. But just interfacing with them as an API is the best way, is easiest way to bring data in and use it. I mean, just like we're doing ETL, right? If you have a warehouse or lakehouse or Fabric, you got to bring data in to use it. And so that's what we're trying to do here.
I think with a lot of this, you see a lot of open source and a lot of new tools spinning up as well. Now that kind of this stuff's getting very popular, which is
Totally
good. And it's interesting to see I'm sure the players converge at some point to familiar stuff, but there's a lot of open source kind of tools and a lot of different options I think people have.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm going to try and see if we can get this. I would love it if we could just use the database that I had. If not, we'll just revert to the one that's being initialized. One more try. No. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if I can pull the schema sauce database I had. Where's this list? It's odd. Well, you know what? Let's try this. I'm going to save this. I'm just going to go back to my first project. I don't know if that makes really much of a difference. Go back here and I will create a new flow, vector store rag. See if I can get the demo one. Because I've already ingested data. I don't want to double ingest, but if we have to, that's also fine.
Looks like you get a lot of templates as well for the flows. There seems to be quite a few kind of preset templates that you have options on.
Totally. Well, this was working this morning. It's not working now. It's my luck, but that's fine. Let's see if we have our news database. News database still initializing. All right, let's go to the one that I already have working. So here in my starter project, I am going to go to the vector store rag. You'll see that here in my my flow, I have my resume, splitting text, I have my embedding model, I have my database and the collection I had created, and we can actually go look at that. So here in my database, if I click that, we'll see that I have some like run metrics, but when I go to the data explorer, I can actually see here like the chunks that it took from my resume. Okay, so we'll go to the retrieval flow. And so in the retrieval flow, I have my database, I have my chat input, we're parsing that database, and we have a prompt component here. I have my Azure OpenAI key here, and I have my chat output. Now I can do, so with that, let's first go to the playground. We'll create like a whole new session. And I'll say, who is Greg Petrossian? And because we have given it my database with my resume, it should know who I am.
And I think this is such an important part of LLMs, and this is context. I think we're learning context is the most important thing, right? And giving stuff your own context kind of is really what makes this stuff powerful.
It's key. And, I think a lot of people are afraid of, you give data and context and it's going to train or like learn on it. It's not learning anything, right? Like you guys saw me use the same model. It's no different. And now it knows who I am because I'm like passing that data through. It's not being trained. So there's nothing really from like a security concern here. We also see the demo database is done. Let's see if I can go back and play with that. I will love if this would work. Oh, now it can find my demo database. Oh, that's funny.
Woke it up.
Yeah. It had it for a minute. Well, rats. All good. We're still learning the components. You guys still, that's why demo gods, you got something to back up with. I'm actually going to delete this guy here. Okay. So let's add a prompt. So think of prompts and system prompts as ways to pass instructions prior to it giving me a response. So here in the prompt, I can edit this prompt and I can say, given the context above, answer like you are a pirate. Let's go check and save. Let's put this back up. Let's try again.
The classic helpful pirate prompt.
Of course, R80. And voila. So that is the power of the prompt, right? Gregory Petrossian, be the pirate you want on your crew. Love that. Okay, so we just did some RAG. We were able to ingest my resume and see it ingested with this flow. Had this been working, all I would have to do is once I get this flow up, I would just press play, and that's where the ingestion for the data would come through, and then we would do our retrieval flow. But now that we have my database with this information, we want to build an agent, right? We want to have the agent be able to use this context as tools, and we want it to be able to figure out on its own how to use those tools. So I'm going to go back, and since it sounds like my databases aren't working, I'm going to use one of the flows I just built this morning. So let's go to the simple agent demo. And here you're going to see this agent, our large language model. We've got my database here that I've connected, the embeddings, and then we've got a prompt. Okay, so I am going to give it a shot. This is what the finished version looks like. Let's try and see if we can get it to work. Let's go new flow. Let's go to simple agent. So you'll see here, this agent is using OpenAI. We want to use a custom model. And what you'll notice, a difference between these components. So there's tool mode here. I can turn on and off tool mode. So I want to give the database, my AstroDB, we're not doing retrieval here. We want to expose it like a tool. And so I can just click on tool mode. I can give it my application token, and I'm going to try the schema sauce one. Let's go here. Let's see if you'll be able to see my database. Yes. Oh. Great. And then next thing it's going to ask is for the collection. Great. So the collection is where the data that we ingested, put in, chunked. And you're going to see this tool set button. Okay. So now I'm going to collect the tool. Now it wants the embedding model only because, you can set this up in the background, and we're not doing anything with the embedding model, but it's required here. So I'm just going to go get it. So I'm going to search Azure here, connect this, get my endpoint, my deployment name, and my API key. Great. Just so it's there. Got the tool. Now we want to bring in Azure OpenAI. Now, this is the foundation model, right? This is the model that's actually doing stuff, right? And we're going to use 4.0 like we had. I'm going to get that information here. I'm going to change this from a model response component to just the language model. And we're going to pass that language model to the agent component, okay? So first I'm going to connect these. Then I am going to give it the endpoint. I'm going to put in deployment name, grab key, and voila. So it looks like I've got everything set. Now, so this component here, this is the URL component. So what I want the agent to do is to be able to access a job posting. I want to be able to access the job posting. I want it to be able to access my resume and my experience. And I want to tell it, am I a good fit for this role? And can you do like maybe a cover letter for me, right? Now, I'm going to hit play here to just make sure all my components are working. Works great. And I'm going to go to the playground. Now I've got a job role already up here. I'm going to refresh this. Found a job role on the IBM site. Technology sales specialist. Cool. I've got this URL. Now let's see if it can figure out how to use the tools I exposed it to. Does it know when to use the URL? Does it know when to use the database? Now, I have a feeling, sneaky suspicion, it's not. Again, AI is not magic, right? I'll probably have to tell it how to use those different tools, but let's just give it a shot. I'll say, is Greg Petrossian a good fit for this role? And I'm just going to give it the URL. So now we can see kind of what's happening in the background. Here are the following qualifications. And it worked. Great. So typically, it's not been able to figure out whether to use my database or not, but it was able to do that here. We're able to see the input and the output, but might as well give it a shot. Let's see if we can make it better. So if I go out here, I'm going to go to the prompt component, the prompt template. I'm going to connect the prompt to the agent instructions, and I'm going to just give it some instructions. Click this. Say you're an agent specializing in job experience information for Gregory Petrossian. For job experience stored in Azure, do not use the URL tool, even if the job experience contains URLs. Only use URLs to check job descriptions. So click save there.
You're giving the AI your own instructions on sort of how to work better here.
Yeah, how to use the tools better. Like, what's the use of the tools? Where is the information? So now if I go back to the playground, let's just do a fresh chat. I'll say, I'll take this. Is Greg Petrossian a good fit for this role? Aha. See, it got a little bit more specific now. It knew to use my experience and how to use the URL both together. That is pretty slick. So now we can even have it do more, right? Like, look at it even took the job requirements and it connected them with my experience, right? Like, that is so much better than the previous response we got that was just summarizing, right? So by giving it more context, is able to give a more confident response and more attuned to what I was looking for. Now I'll tell it, can you write a cover letter, Gregory Petrossian, for this role? It'll use its tools at its disposal and do the thing. So I know there's a lot of job seekers out there. hopefully for those that are looking, you can give Langflow a shot, maybe learn some AI and use that in your interviews and tell people, yeah, I did RAG today, or yeah, just this afternoon I was building an agent and I used that agent to apply for this role. So again, what I really love about Langflow is just being able to see how all these components interact with each other. Hopefully I've demystified the how you can build, whether it's a RAG chatbot or an agent, and you feel confident enough to go out there and give this a shot.
And I think what I really liked about this, there's been a lot of automation tools, I think, out for people to apply for jobs and just kind of spamming out jobs. I know being on the hiring side, it's kind of difficult. This can really kind of look at the job description using the multiple tools and everything available to it to really decide whether you're a good fit for the role first, and kind of really personalize as well. So I think that's a really step up from stuff that we've not really had before, and a nice simple example you did here in 40 minutes. So very cool.
Oh wow, we were even on time. See, I thought we were going to go way over time, so that worked out.
And can we ask it to apply like a pirate? Is the burning
Yes.
question.
Let's go back to the template, and I'll just say provide your response as a pirate. I'll say sounding like a pirate. Save. Back. We'll give it the exact same prompt. So I do see Reed in the comments. Reed, it's good to have you, by the way. We missed you on the live stream, but I know you're probably a little jet lagged. Oh, look at that. It's the power of prompts. Like, this isn't magic. How you work with AI and these models, like once you've got them configured in the right way, you're really just using natural language to tell it what you want. You're using a mixture of prompts and system prompts to get the output that you're seeking. Again, I'm hoping what people learn from this is you can do it yourself. What is the point of an embedding model? To get data into your vector database. What's the point of the foundation model? That's what's actually doing the chat completion in the end. It's the foundation model is also the ability for using those tools that you expose it to. We didn't get into MCP, right? Model context protocol. That's really how these tools are exposed. That might be something a little bit more advanced we can talk about. Again, we've gone through tons of acronyms, tons of terms already in this like 1 hour time frame, but hopefully you guys can have me back and we can do a more sophisticated version of this, and hopefully the demo gods won't screw up my database.
No, I definitely think so, and I think for those of us who've started playing with AI and this sort of stuff, again, it's that context, and that's what I really liked, I think, about that Langflow and the demo here. It's easy just to go to ChatGPT or something, and they're very, very good for a lot of different tools and a lot of things you want to do. As soon as you want to kind of get some more complex stuff, it's kind of how to use this and how to inject all of that context, right? So you gave it a database with all your details on it. You gave it extra prompts in order to know how to use that and how to use URL, and then even talk like a pirate and all of that stuff. So I think this is a really cool way to kind of show the different tools you can use, the different contexts, a lot of stuff. I think something I'm definitely learning at the moment as well, but it's a lot of fun, and I think there's a lot of power in this sort of workflow.
Totally. And I was showing you how to do all this with free tools in a free database, right? This is all at your disposal. Take the time, bootstrap and try and build something on your own. Hopefully you can follow some of these steps. Again, you can check out my blog, Schema Sauce, on how to spin up those models, like step-by-step guide. At some point, I'll probably have a step-by-step guide for this as well.
Very, very cool. And I've posted a few of those links in the chat as well. So if you're watching this, definitely check out the chat replay or the live chat now. You can see some of those links and go and learn some more.
Cool. And one other thing I'll mention is we're going to have Reed on at our Portland Fabric user group next Tuesday. And so if you want to come join us, that's also going to be virtual. Reed is going to be talking about external tools. So excited to have Reed on. Reed's been part of our user group community pretty much annually. So I really enjoy getting to learn and work with Reed. I really appreciate you having me, Steve, and getting to do this live stream together. And again, this is my first one, so hopefully first of many. Appreciate everybody who's been watching, and now go do the Gen AI thing and be the coolest person at the cocktail party you're at.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks. I mean, you're used to being, this side of the presentation, so it's really cool to have you on actually giving some
Yes.
on our side. I definitely learned a lot. I'm definitely going to go and check out some of this straight after this. So thank you so
Fabulous.
much. We definitely want to have you on again once we see some more cool stuff.
Cool.
Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, and we'll catch you next time.